I've been studying the Emperor of Japan.
Oh, yes,
for about a month.
This is during World War II period, Emperor of Japan? Okay.
So
Clarify.
There's a very...
They've had a few.
So like the official narrative right now is that the Emperor of Japan was basically a powerless figurehead. And that the not the government, but the branches of the military, like the top military officials, were actually running the Japanese government.
That goes back to like the daimyo period when,
I don't believe any of it.
Okay, never mind. Daimyo period, they did. Like it was a placeholder, and the daimyo would rule.
So like, I don't believe it. I don't believe any of it. I think the Emperor of Japan in World War II was like signing off on all of it.
Yes.
Okay, so like
he was a god in that time. He was revered as a god.
So. And if you go back and look at it, like the Imperial Japanese Constitution, if you look at it's like I think it's articles 11 through 15 are literally like the emperor has the final say on everything. The emperor is in charge of this. The emperor is in charge of that. The emperor is in charge of this. The emperor is in charge of that. Like it's in the Constitution. It's written out. And then when it came to surrendering for Japan, the tiebreaker between the committee of the six that got to decide if Japan would surrender or not, the tiebreaker was the emperor. And there's a historian, his last name is Bix. I can't remember his first name. He wrote a whole book about it. It's really good. But he kind of lays out the whole case for it. And it's like, fuck, I think he's right. Because he's like, no, the dude had power. He knew what he was doing the whole time. And the reason that America plays along with the emperor being the powerless figurehead was America was basically hoping that by allowing the emperor to not face a tribunal for war crimes, it would make it easier for Japan to basically join the world again and be a productive member of the global society. And that's basically why you had MacArthur parading the God Emperor around, taking pictures with MacArthur's 6'5" ass next to his 5'4" whatever, being like,
and this guy again,
God King, whatever.
This guy was never photographed before. Like they'd never heard his voice.
Well, they never heard his voice on the radio. So when he surrendered, it was like a big deal in Japan. And there was actually like everybody, when they heard that the emperor was going to be on the radio and they were going to hear his voice for the first time, they were dressing up like they were going to fucking church.
This is
to hear his voice on the radio.
That's a god figure. This is how Kim Jong-il essentially was revered.
The predominant narrative has literally been that like, oh, Emperor Hirohito was like just dicking off in his palace playing with koi fish. And it's like, no, he wasn't. He was fucking...
So, no, excuse my
Go ahead.
ignorance on Japanese history of that time frame, but in the 40s, was it still a genealogical monarchy kind of thing? Like it was his kids or... So the theory was... I'm not super versed on Shintoism, but it's literally like you have... the yin and the gods of the yin and the yang, and then you had the light god. There's like tiers of gods almost. So you had like yin and yang, and then which is kind of like the universe essentially. Yeah. And then you had the god of light, the sun, and the emperor. Order and chaos.
The emperor was the son of the sun god. So like he was basically like Hercules, like he was a demigod,
right?
God level figure. But still genetics, yes.
Yeah, because you had so you had daimyos, and then you had what was it? Daimyos was samurai was under, that was the fourth in the rank. Daimyos and shogun. So daimyo, shogun. So emperors, daimyo, shogun, samurai. Nobunaga was the one that almost unified
fucking
it,
weeb.
and then the other guy, I forget his name. He's the one that he took over Nobunaga. He unified it. But the god, the emperor, is the one that stayed in charge always. Never in charge, though, during that time period. That was like the shogun and the daimyo were the ones that were like, we're killing people. And the king was like, I'm not going to fuck with these dudes. Yes.
Here is the Imperial Japanese Constitution. So before America overthrew them, Articles 11 through 13. Article 11, the Emperor has supreme command of the Army and Navy. Article 12, the Emperor determines the organization of peace, standing of the Army and Navy. Article 13, the Emperor declares war, makes peace, and concludes treaties. Period. Hirohito himself sanctioned the attack on Pearl Harbor. He was briefed on every military action and was allowed to intervene whenever he saw fit, which was almost never. So like on the Council of Six that made all the decisions, one of those six was like his his servant, his like right-hand guy that was sitting on the council, basically representing his interest. And then if there was ever a tie, he would go in to break the tie, which is what happened when they surrendered in World War II. So, yeah.
So kind of like the vice president does over Congress.
Basically, yeah.
Or over the Senate, rather.
I love that.
And then it kind of brings into the whole thing of like, well, if the emperor wasn't powerful and he was just a figurehead, why did they try to overthrow him when they heard that he was going to surrender? Like, why do you need to overthrow a guy that doesn't have power?
It's like the king in England right now.
Right.
Like, okay, so what?
Yeah. Like, why would you bother to overthrow him? It's because he actually did have all the fucking power. So, I don't know. I'm not convinced.
It's a hard one because it is how the general public looks at it. If they viewed him as that, it's hard to push back.
But it makes complete sense as to like why America would be like, okay, no, we're gonna roll with that. That way you don't have to get convicted for war crimes. We'll make all of your people happy because their God gets to stay alive. You get to tell your people to chill, like go make Toyotas and radios and shit and be a productive member of society. And everybody fucking wins. That's 100% what happened though. Like, it's the same thing with like everybody's mad that there's like Confederate statues and bases are named after Confederate generals. Like the reason that was done,
to pacify
I understand the narrative is that like, oh, they were trying to scare, black people or whatever. It's like there might have been a small degree of that, but by a larger part, it was trying to bring the South back into the fold of like, hey, we want you guys to be part of the fucking team here. Well, we'll respect your exactly, and it makes sense to me.
No,
because it was almost like a generational gap because there was like kind of a really brutal Reconstruction period, and then after that it was kind of like once the temperature of the room kind of chilled out a little bit. It was like, all right, we need to figure out how to move forward as a country more unied and stuff like that. We did get into in pretty deep detail the other day why I believe it was Woodrow Wilson.
No,
his you already know where that's going. His great love for Birth of a Nation and everything like that. We got into that with Jack Mandeville.
Oh no! When on podcast?
Podcast.
Oh shit!
Oh, that goes out tomorrow morning.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and then we have one Saturday.
Good.
Or Friday, Saturday for everyone else. Yeah.
No!
Yeah.
I'm gonna go watch The Last Samurai tonight.
Good.
I might do that too. That's a good movie.
Oh, we're talking about Tom Cruise. Now we're talking about Japan.
We got drunk like fucking a year or two ago, and I'd never seen The Last Samurai. So
that's why you're doing the fucking recreation.
So good.
Yeah. We were watching it. I was like, damn, this movie slaps.
Get this man a Disney contract. He's never seen the movie. Have him do the recreation.
100%. No, but I was like, damn, this movie's fucking dope. So I was pretty buzzed. So I was sitting there on my couch, and I bought a fucking Gatling gun that night.
Oh, is that why you have that Gatling gun?
That is why I have that Gatling gun. I've had it for like a year and a half. I haven't done dick with it because I've wanted to do a good recreation. I have a whole fucking bit. I have the armor.
Stop about the.
Hear me out.
Brandon Herrera buying a Gatling gun.
Okay.
Brandon Herrera also buy like time period accurate sword and armor.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
No, he did.
Oh, I went all out.
Let's run an experiment. You nerds can run your. Well, can we run 2 videos on your channel? We'll do them back to back. We'll see which one performs better. Okay. You guys can do your time accurate samurai armor bullshit with the Gatling gun. Okay. I get to pick the theme for the second video with the Gatling gun. We'll see which one performs better.
No. So, okay, I'm not doing a period accurate. It's literally for a fucking 30-second bit.
Yeah. Brandon just want to
but
run
I just
in
want
on
to fuck shit up with
Amorai.
the Gatling gun.
I bet my idea will outdo it.
What's your idea?
Hear me out.
We might have to cut this just in case I like it.
No, it's not bad at all. Here's the title.
Oh, I'm saying just in case I like it.
Which drill will make a Gatling gun run faster? DeWalt versus Milwaukee.
So honestly,
and we just hook up with the DeWalt drill versus the Milwaukee drill to the Gatling gun and see which one shoots more fucking bullets.
Many communities, the construction workers are gonna be like, damn.